everyone, Ryan here, or MandRproductions, and boy do I have an opinion to share with you today. I think the LEGO 18 Plus lineup is somewhat flawed, and I've shared this opinion in some videos on certain sets, but I thought I'd make a full video on the topic because I think LEGO should seriously consider changing what they place under the 18 Plus umbrella. So for those that don't know, 2020 is the first year LEGO has ever rated sets for 18 and up, and this largely seems to be a marketing ploy. It doesn't necessarily mean that the set is too difficult to build for anyone under the age of 18, or is necessarily inappropriate for anyone under the age of 18, like with other things that we won't talk about. However, the box art does reflect this 18 plus rating with this beautiful all black look, except for sometimes like a bar of colored bricks at the bottom where the information on the set can be found. It really is a fascinating thing that LEGO is doing here to try and appeal to more adult builders and buyers, adult fans of LEGO, AFOLs, which is great to me. I think it's wonderful because I've never distinguished it in that way that a lot of older people may come in and be like, yeah, Lego's a kid's toy, but now LEGO putting out these, they would look at it and be like, hey, this is great, I want to buy these, and that works in that aspect. But it is having a negative effect for some people. As of now, there are just 21 18 plus or adult LEGO sets, and this number is only going to increase in the future as LEGO continues to make more of these. We already know that we're getting at least 3 more LEGO Star Wars helmet sets in 2021, which are all going to be rated for 18 plus, and I'm sure other themes will continue to get more sets as well as the years go on. So here are my issues with the 18 plus lineup for certain sets. I think it works great for a majority of the 21 sets that are currently available. However, the first one where I started to see an issue with the 18 plus lineup was the haunted house. Now you could say it's a spooky place and that makes sense for it to be 18 plus. Now of the list of offenders, I think the haunted house is not the worst offender because it does seem to be a somewhat complex build. It has some power functions integrations as well as a chain to pull up the elevator and drop characters on down, kind of like a haunted free fall tower, which is a really neat feature and can be one that may be tough to build for younger audiences. So I can understand maybe why this one ended up with an 18 plus rating from that point of view. It also did have some nice Easter eggs to older LEGO themes from like the 90s. So it's like, hey, if you were into this as a kid, you may recognize some of these little things that we threw into this set, which is also something that kind of makes sense with an 18 plus rating. So while the haunted house wasn't the first 18 plus set, it was the first one that to me kind of presented a problem. The first ones actually, I believe, were the Star Wars helmet sets, which makes sense as 18 plus sets. They certainly aren't play sets for kids. However, if you want to get really nitpicky with it, you don't have to be 18 plus to build it though. Now the few sets that I have a bigger issue with being marked 18 plus are these 3 right here. First up, the Elf Clubhouse. This one is not an 18 plus set, let's just be honest. On top of the fact that basically all previous Winter Village sets were marked for ages 12 and up, Winter Village is kind of like a family thing for a lot of people. They get the set, they build it together, they put it in their village for the family to enjoy or whatever the case may be, but it certainly is not a thing that's exclusively for adults, and the issue with that is that that is the vibe that the box art and the age rating for this set certainly give off to consumers who maybe aren't as wise as you or I who are watching this video because we're so into LEGO. Just the passers-by who are like, hey, we want a cool set for Christmas to build. Oh, that one, 18 plus, can't touch that. I built the Elf Clubhouse. It does not have anything in it that would be particularly challenging to anyone really under the age of 10. And so for that, I think the Elf Clubhouse is flawed. I don't think it should be being marked as an 18 plus set, and I think LEGO should really reconsider that in the future. I just feel bad for people that are going to miss out on this set, and it may not be everyone, it may only be a small percentage of people, but I certainly think people are going to be missing out on this set because they're going to pass by it thinking it's not for their age range, and that is kind of unfortunate. Now another set, the one that kind of prompted me to finally make this video, is the Sesame Street set. Sesame Street is for children, it is, and I understand there are a lot of older people that watched Sesame Street when they were younger and maybe are fringe into it, but none of my friends are still watching Sesame Street at the age of 23. Nobody I know watched Sesame Street after they were like 7, right? It's just not a thing that older people tend to be into. And so when the set came up in LEGO Ideas, I figured it would not be an 18 plus set, but lo and behold, they marked it as an 18 plus set, made the box art all black, but yet you have one of the most iconic things in a child's life on TV as a set for adults, and that just doesn't mix well to me. It's just weird to me, okay? That's all I have. It's just weird. I mean, certainly voice your opinion in the comments, but I just don't think a Sesame Street set of all things should be in the 18 plus range. The other issue I've seen with 18 plus is I've had comments, and I'm sure LEGO is getting the feedback too, where people will ask me, oh, is this set too difficult to build? I'm 14, or I'm 16, or, you know, things like that. And like I said with the Winter Village set, it's not a difficult set to build. It's entirely a marketing ploy for the most part with this 18 plus range. Now, there are exceptions to this rule where you have a set like the Lamborghini that is just ridiculously difficult to build, but that's a Technic set. Those historically have always been difficult to build. But if you look at something like a Mosaic, it's not that it's particularly difficult to build, right? You're just putting studs on a plate. It's just that it's long and tedious, and on top of that, you know, kids aren't playing with a Mosaic, right? Like, that's what a kid's play set is for us to play with. If it's a Mosaic, you're not really playing with it. So that makes sense to have as 18 plus. Now, one of the ones that kind of makes my mind bend is having the Mos Eisley Cantina being marked as 18 plus. And now, so on one side, I understand there's a lot of older LEGO Star Wars fans that love Star Wars and love LEGO, and the Mos Eisley Cantina is obviously a classic for them because it's what they grew up with. However, there's also a lot of teenagers in the 13 to 18 range that are into LEGO Star Wars, and I get the comments of like, hey, can I build this, or should I buy this, because it says, you know, it's not for me, it's 18 plus, right? And it's become kind of this thing where it seems like it's a hard line of demarcation where, oh, if you're 17, no, but if you're 18, you're good to go. You know, it's one of those things where it's not a really hard line, but unfortunately people perceive it as such. And so Mos Eisley Cantina as a set maybe a couple years ago would have come out and been ranked for ages 14 and up, which would make a lot of sense. It's not a very difficult build, and it certainly is a playset, right? At the end of the day, it's a very big playset, and like anything, can be used for display too, and that's great, fine and dandy. I love using all my sets for display. However, having it marked 18 plus I think is a little bit flawed, and so I don't know. I just want to kind of present the idea that 18 plus is not entirely perfect yet, and that LEGO should reconsider a few of the things that they're marking for 18 and up. I just do not think that a Winter Village set should be 18 and up, especially when all the previous ones were 12 and up. It's not like this one brings something new to the table that makes it 18 plus. It's not like Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus are getting it on.